All right, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Uper Farmers Cigar Garage Talks. Even though I'm on the right or the left side of the camera, we do have a special visitor. Say hi.
Hi.
Hello. And the reason is we're doing something a little different. Since we got the stove installed, we're now sitting in front of the stove. What do you think of the stove?
Usually it's pretty hot.
We did come out a little early.
Yeah.
I just lit it, so I'll be opening the door here in a little bit. You'll see the flames shooting out, which will be pretty good. We got to get it kind of up and going. So what are we smoking tonight? All right, you got to help me again. This is the Nika Rustica. Nika Rustica. Kind of wanted a random cigar I was sent. It had a closed foot though, which that means the end there actually has a bunch of leaf over it. So you're supposed to inhale as you light it. You're not supposed to like toast the foot or anything. It's a whole thing.
That doesn't sound healthy at all.
It makes for a very good cigar.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite types of cigars. One's the closed foot. Neither here nor there. What are you drinking tonight? We'll start with your drink.
My bubbly.
Your bubbly. What type of bubbly do you have?
I think this one is the cherry.
Your cherry bubbly.
Yeah, the cherry.
I learned something. Do you know each top says something different? The pull tops.
These ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does yours say?
Well, this one says heyo.
Heyo. And tonight, what we're going to talk about tonight, Velvet Villain. It is an imperial porter. Hoping delicious and yummy and all that good stuff.
For some reason that makes me think of the Velveteen Rabbit.
Well, there's that too, right? Maybe we can go soft. We'll go Velveteen Rabbit instead of what I wanted to talk about.
I don't know, that's a pretty horrifying story.
How so?
Because they have to burn the rabbit.
Well, I mean, that was in the...
And they died.
No.
Yes. The little boy got very sick, and I think his sister died. And
That's a whole different story where they burn the rabbit.
no,
Is
that's
that
the Velveteen Rabbit.
Does the Velveteen
I think
Rabbit
you're
have
thinking
that?
of Peter Rabbit.
No.
The Velveteen Rabbit is the stuffed animal that gets burned, I believe.
I thought that was just there was a book where the girl, like her whole family died, so they burned everything.
Yeah, during the smallpox or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think that was the Velveteen. Maybe it was
That was the
Velveteen Rabbit.
Velveteen Rabbit.
Well, there we go. It's dark and depressing. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking. We always talk up homesteading, homeschooling, self-sufficiency, how wonderful it is. Praise Lord Jesus. It's all rainbows and unicorn poop, right? Except tonight. Tonight we're being honest with you because this week was a little bit of a rough week. Le Mortis of the bunnies. This week was kind of a rougher week when it comes to the homestead. So kind of what I guess we'll start off with what happened. We do rabbits. They are kind of a prepping / homesteading / farmer's market good. We brought 2 of our female rabbits in that we had bred specifically to have some Easter bunnies. Well, what happened is what are we up to? 3 now?
2.
2?
3. 2.
2? 2 of our females got breeded out. It was sibling groups, which normally they don't breed each other out. But 2 of our female rabbits. Huh?
Not at this age.
Yeah, it was way too early. We were going to separate them. We're actually going to slaughter off quite a few of them here very soon. But 2 of our female does got pregnant, had litters, and the 100% of the litters were fatalities. Quite a few of them, actually. We have 2 more who might be pregnant from that incursion. We're not really sure yet. The unfortunate part is because they're kind of juvenile bunnies, even if we have them now in nesting boxes inside, there's a good chance those bunnies won't last long, just because they are juvenile. So really kind of a hard thing on the homestead here. Our youngest daughter Second youngest daughter. That's right. Fairy Dancer is not taking it well. She's taking it with a stiff upper lip. Of course, she's taking it in stride, but she's not enjoying having these little baby bunnies found dead inside the rabbit barn, because where they're at, they really could not have successfully had a birthing. We didn't know they'd gotten pregnant. It was way too early. Plus, with sibling groups, normally they don't interbreed, but for whatever reason, these ones did.
Well, they do, but they're quite young. We were going to separate them and do a buck cage and a doe cage. I think we mentioned that before, but you were a bit opposed to that idea.
Well, because we were going to mix two different litters of bucks and does.
Which doesn't, as long as they're young enough, that really doesn't matter.
I thought they were too old. I thought they'd get territorial and fight each other, but I have been proven since then to be very wrong in this matter. Which is kind of part of homesteading, about raising animals, rearing animal husbandry. You make mistakes. I feel 100% guilty. I feel it is my fault because I was the one who, I won't say put my foot down, but I definitely put my foot down. Like, no, we'll wait. They'll be fine for another day, week, month, whatever I thought that time frame was. Again, I don't have all the answers when it comes to this stuff, but my estimation was wrong. I'm willing to admit it. I made a mistake. Again, the Fairy Dancer is not doing so stellar with it. Neither is Swedish Compass. She has taken a role of, I don't want to say ignorance, would be the term for that. She's not dealing with it. Long story short, she's not been helping clean out any of the Le Mortis of the bunnies. She's always kind of had more of a gentle soul when it comes to that. I don't blame her for it, but she did kind of get a little mouthy with Fairy Dancer about her willingness, or it was Wild and Free Wolf was the one who, she's been pulling bunnies in left, right, and backwards, and
she doesn't want it to happen again. So if it even looks like a bunny might be pulling hair, she's pulling it in and setting it up with a nesting box and getting it all ready. And I don't blame her. It's not fun to go out there and see a little tiny baby kit, and it's so cold. And we've, of course we have hay, and of course the rabbits are all warm enough. But to have a litter, if they stumble out of the cage, because they crawl around blindly.
Yeah.
And if there's not a nesting box in there.
Well, not to mention there's other bunnies, so they get jumped on, they get just trampled underfoot. Not because the bunnies are being mean at all, but just because they're animals after all. So after this last week and having to deal with that and deal with tears and deal with anger and anxiety, I thought to get real and talk about homesteading woes. I mean, we've been doing homesteading life, at least on the vanilla end of things, for her son was 5 years old, so about 11 years now. 11, 12 years.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. We've been doing the homesteading game where we've had animals, we've done gardening, for at least 10 years. I'll give us 10 years that we've been doing it a little more. When we started, we've gotten more serious in the last 3 years than we have really. I guess not. I guess when we were over on the east end of the state, we got pretty serious there for a while, where we had a pretty massive garden and bushes and bunnies and turkeys and chickens and
even ducks for a while.
Even ducks. We had some ducks. We even, what do you call that when you gave Grandma and Grandpa some chickens and ducks to care for, but they were still ours because we had to harvest them. Fostered? I like that. Fostered. We fostered some of our animals out to family and friends. We definitely corrupted a number of people by getting them into the homesteading lifestyle. So, woes. What I mean, I talk about heavily about the wonders of homesteading and how great it is to raise your own meat, raise your own vegetables. So why don't you kick us off? Besides the dead bunnies, what are some realistics or woes that we've run into?
No, cleaning the cages is not fun. The rabbits are mostly me. That was my thing. So it is me cleaning all of those cages. I don't expect the kids to do it. They help. Asher is very good at helping.
Can't remember his game or claim.
I can't. I was trying. Vashman is really good at helping. If he sees me even walking out to the barn, he comes right out and helps.
Yeah.
He's a trooper. The rest of them, they like the cute cuddly. They like holding them when they're babies. They like, making sure they're socialized, and they don't mind eating them. They really like eating them. But do they not like dealing with the mess? So I can always rely on Vashman, but the rest of them is kind of hit or miss if they're going to help. And same with the chickens. The chickens really aren't my thing. You were the one that started with chickens, but it really is always me cleaning the coop. It's always me scrubbing the ground or raking up.
That was last year. A couple years before, I definitely helped out scraping the ground and
a little bit.
Yeah.
It usually is me and the kids, so mostly me. The kids are really not into it, but they're great at So I do the scraping and I put it in a bucket or the wheelbarrow, and then they'll take it to the pile and dump it and distribute it, I guess you could say. But they're really not into cleaning the cages, so I do them, I would say 95 to 98% of that.
Maybe at least a high 80 for sure.
They do it once.
Vashman does do a lot of...
He does. He waits outside though.
Yeah.
Especially the rabbits. That's because he's very nervous of the rabbits.
Yeah,
he does not like the rabbits. He likes looking at them, and when they're little...
He's a chicken whisperer, though.
Yeah, right. When he likes looking at them, and he likes petting them when they're calm and still, and when they're little. But as soon as they start bringing out their claws, he does not want to pick them up. He doesn't want to have much to do with them. He'll scrape the trays, but he will not do much more. He's not into it. I don't blame him. I don't know if you could see it on the camera.
Put it under there.
I have quite the...
A little deep gash there. Probably actually...
It's quite
borderline
sore.
stitches right there. It's borderline.
And you can actually feel it's hard underneath my skin now from it. But this isn't that bad. I had a lot last year. They were much worse. I got much better at picking them up and holding them.
Right.
But the messes, cleaning up the messes is no fun. And then it's really sad to go out and have to deal with an accidental birth where the babies are everywhere. And they fall out of the cage, and we try to make sure the does are down low. We always keep them down low, because if something then does fall out of the cage, it doesn't fall far. It's literally, in most cases, inches.
Right. It's not.
But even inches, when it's cold outside and they are crawling
Even
around,
if it's warm outside, they wouldn't last long.
Well, we did have some fall out of the cage last year, and they were fine.
We had that one surprise birth when we swore the two were bucks, and
does.
I thought they were both. Thought they were both
No, we
bucks.
thought they were does.
Does, and that turns out not so much.
Yeah, so we do keep them down low, but when it's this cold, there's really not much that can be done, and baby rabbits are very delicate, but they only get fed twice a day. So if they fall out and you don't see them right away, they're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, Free Wolf goes out every 2 to 3 hours to check to see if there's...
Yeah, she goes out pretty frequently just to check.
Check to see if there's any babies. We're gonna open this up here now that it's roaring. Excuse me here, folks. Sorry for all the clanking.
So yeah, that's always pretty sad.
One of the depressing things for me happened last year. Again, you had the bunnies thing, was the fox attack. We were actually, until last year, we're pretty much spared from any animal involved. I think, well, I take that back. I guess, was it Zeke got one of our chickens one year?
I have no idea.
We did have one of our dogs did kill one chicken, but it was just one, and he didn't really eat it. He kind of like pulled it out of the coop and played with it more than anything, like a curiosity, and just through his play, he ended up killing it. But last year was the first year we had a significant loss of livestock. I mean, we had 14, I think it was 14 baby chickens.
That sounds about right.
It was 14, or was it 12? It was 12 baby chickens. 10 of the chickens got killed, and then 2 of our turkeys got killed in one night. I mean, it was just one night. We had the window open. We thought, the worst part is, so I talked about this in an earlier video. I would usually build the chicken coops. Like the chicken coops, the chicken runs, I always built them. But just being a male, or whatever you want to call me, I'm always super critical of myself. I always think they're substandard, subpar. I always look back and like, wow, that's crap. I could have done a better job. But, time, money, whatever you want to call it. So that year I bought a dog run, which was supposed to hold up to a 60-pound Rottweiler dog. Could not breach this dog run. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy it. It's going to be better than building it. Lo and behold, though, unfortunately, the fox or whatever got him, I'm pretty sure it was a fox, was able, the holes in the run were big enough that if a chicken foot or a chicken head slipped through, the fox was able to pull them out and eat them. We lost 10 chickens in one night and 2 turkeys. One of the turkeys was dead, had to dispatch the other one. As I think I talked about in the video, unfortunately, there was one turkey who was the prized Beltane. Beltane was the prized turkey. I grew up on a farm where, animals are livestock. If they get injured, you just put them on their misery. Beltane had a pretty good chunk taken out of its wing. But he was the prized turkey. He was I believe if Swedish Compass could, she could have claimed that Beltane as a service animal or an emotional support animal. So first time ever, I bought some sort of magical elixir from Tractor Supply, and good on Swedish Compass. She spent that summer nursing that turkey back to health, and it got up to like 50 pounds live weight, 30 pounds processed weight. But that was really, that was hard. I mean, that was even hard on me to lose that many chickens and turkeys. And it was because of my lack of trust in my ability. Had I built a coop, the other 2 coops never had a problem. I think one chicken got some tail feathers ripped off. But that was it. I mean, we've never lost any of our chickens in the 2 coops I built. 3 coops that I physically built. We've never once lost a single chicken because of it. So that was kind of a kick to the shorts, because like I said, I second guess my ability to make chicken coops. Although now I guess I got to kind of go back on that, because what I built seemed to work, especially for this area. So that was definitely hard. Another big woe is, I don't know, show your hand, honey. You got one? Let's put the thumb in there real quick.
What?
Neither of us have a green thumb when it comes to gardening.
No, that is not true. Mine are doing well. Right?
Yours are doing really, we did some this year. We got some indoor crops going, which are going spectacular.
And our zucchini grew amazing.
Zucchini are... So in case any of you guys...
And our radishes turned out pretty good.
Oh God, the 2 worst vegetables. So here's the funny thing. It's my family curse. We'll call it. The family curse is the zucchini curse. Grandpa could come here maybe one of these, hopefully this summer I can get Grandpa on these videos. That'd be hilarious to get him on these videos. He would talk about, he'd plant, I mean, we had an acre, big acre wide garden that we'd plant. And I mean, stuff would do okay. But what always took and just exploded, took over half the garden. He'd plant like 3 zucchini plants and nothing would touch him. No deer, no squirrels, no bear, no fox, no nothing. And they'd take over the entire garden. And I warned my family, I said, listen, if we're going to plant zucchini, we can do 1, maybe 2 plants. And no, the seed packet has, 40 zucchini seeds. So we're going to plant all 40 or whatever. I don't know, it had 20
I think
40.
we only planted 3 or 6 eggs.
No, we planted a lot more than that.
It was the cucumbers that went off too. I mean, we had cucumbers that were over a foot long.
We had some good cukes going, but yeah, the zucchini. So the zucchini curse is Grandpa will talk about. He couldn't give them away. He'd come in with these bushels of zucchini. We'd drop them off on people's doors, and he'd always say it was always worse than egging someone's house was to drop off a bundle of zucchini, because we just got so many, which was hilarious because we've had 3 people tell us that they cannot grow zucchini in the UP to save their life. And we dropped off so many zucchini to 2 out of those 3 people that they're like, okay, that's enough. I have enough zucchini now to last us.
Zucchini really did grow. Well, we did really well with zucchini.
We did great with zucchini.
The carrots, the tops were great, but the soil, we had so many rocks.
Oh, there's just so much wrong. Yeah, the soil, hopefully we can fix that a little bit this year. But
yeah, the radishes grew really well.
They grew okay.
The corn did not grow well at all.
Not at all. Not even a little.
The cucumbers grew all right. We actually had some really big.
We had some good, but they were weird. Like we'd have some big ones, but they'd be like 2 or 3 big ones per plant, and that was it.
Well, I mean, some of that was the kids were like, we don't even eat cucumbers.
That's true. They did also get to the point where they were, even the chickens wouldn't eat the damn zucchini. Right. We were trying to get the chickens and turkeys zucchini. They wouldn't touch them. So I don't know what's up with zucchini in the UP, but.
Yep, we had zucchini, we had cucumbers. I'm trying to think of what else we planted. My acorn squash did not take very well, but we did get a couple of small ones.
Mm-hmm. We did another squash.
The lettuce did really well, actually.
It did okay. I wouldn't go really well.
Well, I didn't plant much. I only planted that little row, and it did pop up really well. Trying to think of it. The beans didn't work at all.
We got a handful of beans, like one harvest where like the kids just ate them off the garden, which was fine, but.
I didn't think they did well.
Yeah.
I think that's most of what we planted because we didn't plant a ton of anything because it was kind of a let's see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
This year we're definitely going to modulate what we plant more towards what we know we can eat long term. I don't know how else to put that.
Well, we can preserve
and because cucumbers are nice, you can make pickles out of that. But let's be truthful: who all eats pickles in this house?
Right. I'm the only one that will eat pickles. I'm the only one that will eat relish. I'm the only one who will eat most of that stuff. The kids are kind of finicky, and so is Dad.
The radishes I tried really hard last year to get into. I tried cooking them. I tried frying them.
And they turned out really well. They were actually pretty tasty.
Yeah,
the kids ate them a little bit.
They did a little bit. They got a little into them, but not.
But those are good for like, a couple of radishes here or there is fine for the rabbits. So, yeah, our radishes went well.
I mean, in past years we had, so here's a little fun farming fact for you. I didn't know this until, what was this? Maybe it was last year. I was talking to some lady at the farmer's market, and about 6 years ago, my 2 youngest daughters, at the time, we didn't have our youngest, so I guess daughter number...
Our middle kids.
Yeah, our middle kids. They wanted to start tomatoes indoors.
I think you told this story on here.
I may, but I'll tell you again. That's fine. So they wanted to start them. So I got a tray of like 50 starts, and they gave them seeds and go ahead and plant them. And I fully anticipated of only getting like 10 out of that 50, because normally when I do indoor starts, 10 out of 50, I'm doing great. I'm doing good with my indoor starts. And once you know it, all 50 took. I tried giving some away. I felt guilty. I actually expanded the garden by a whole a whole another planter, 2 planters worth. So I think I had 16 feet worth of extra garden I ended up going because I couldn't bring myself not to plant all 50 tomatoes. And I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Well, it turns out this old lady at the farmer's market, I was relaying this story, and she said, well, it makes complete sense. Like, well, how does that make sense? She said, well, when you do starts indoors, do you wear gloves? I'm like, well, no, of course not. She said, do you use tweezers? No, that's ridiculous. Of course not. Oh, so you touch them with your bare hands. I'm like, well, I don't call them bare hands. They're manly hands, but yes, I touch them with my manly hands. She then related, I didn't know this. Apparently, there's oils on adult hands. Children don't have them, and these oils can actually, especially in the smaller seeds like tomato seeds, can retard their ability to grow and cause you to have failed starts. So the fact that I had my 2 youngest daughters just playing in dirt, planting these seeds, was one of the best choices I could have ever had. Why we ended up with 50 tomato plants, which was kind of funny because tomatoes became our zucchini that year. We could not give tomato. I mean, neighbors would really lock their door. I put baskets of tomatoes outside their door, cherry tomatoes, and you just watch them rot on their front stoop because they didn't want any more. They couldn't eat anymore. One neighbor even, she was on hard times. She's like, I love tomatoes. I eat tomatoes every day. All right, well, I think for a week I gave her a bushel of tomatoes, probably 2 or 3 times in that week, and she's like, we really don't eat that many tomatoes. She had to give them to friends and family, and even they were like, I think we have enough tomatoes, sweetheart. So that's definitely a whoa. We're not best at processing tomatoes. I mean, I think we could do a better job this time around.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're kind of a pain in the boot to us.
I think if we just did plain sauce, we'd do fine. But you want to make hot sauce, and that's a whole different game.
Yeah, the hot sauce I've given up on. I'm not going to make that anymore.
And then,
I've really changed my mind. Well, we tried.
I think if we pureed them, it'd be easier.
Pureed them. We got to skin them and deseed them.
Yeah, I think that we have that has definitely got a learning curve, I would say.
There's a lot of that we've had where it's a learning curve. With all our even canning, shock horror. I tried to replicate. We butchered some goats, and we had a certified executive chef, come help us with these goats. And just before he left, he showed us how to make stock. That was some of the best stock I've ever had in my life. So I've been trying to replicate this delicious, yummy stock. And let's just say I've had some wins and I've had some failures in trying to replicate it. The kids do get a kick out of it though, so we have some stock from Beltane, and then we have some leftover meat from when we cooked Beltane. So one of our daughters was like, well, we're having body and soul of Beltane. When we do a cream on turkey on toast meal where we cream up the chicken with the broth and whatnot, and that one turned out really good. The chicken ones I've done kind of a hit and miss. I tried with some leftover goat I tried to process up, and that was kind of a miss in my book. So we're still working on the stock. Like I said, hot sauce is something I'll never do again. I'm more than happy to buy my own hot sauce at this rate. And
well, I guess getting animals is sometimes a trick.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't keep a lot of breed stock except with the rabbits, and now we've done chickens. We've incubated chick eggs now, but we don't keep breeding pairs. We really don't have a lot of space for breeding pairs plus like fattening an animal and preparing it. So. That can be problematic. Like this year, we're kind of having a hard time finding either goats or pigs.
You can't find them.
Which is frustrating, but I did contact somebody about pigs. It was all set up, and I haven't heard back from them. So, and I'm kind of ambivalent because we haven't done pigs before. I know you did when you were a kid. We haven't done pigs before. And I am kind of like on the fence about it still. Not because I think that we'll get attached to a pig, but because it's a pig. And I'm a little concerned with smell.
There's some
and
stigma.
work,
There's some stigma involved.
and honestly, every time we start with a new animal or new kind of stock, there's a learning curve, and then there's a practice curve, and then there's, a bunch of research and reading, and, I don't feel like we mastered goats, so I'd like to do goats again rather than switching and doing, a new kind of animal. So I would like to find another set of goats rather than do pigs.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing sheep, but you seem really opposed to sheep.
I think that's the one animal we'd go to harvest and it just goes sideways.
Yeah, the goats were hard to harvest. I'll be honest that it doesn't usually bother me to harvest an animal, but the goats were a little bit bothersome. And I don't know if that was because we were close. Like, I wouldn't say like I was affectionate.
There wasn't an affection, but I think it was more.
But they are more of a.
They're socialer.
They're
animal.
more social. They're more like a
took
dog.
we took them out on walks and.
Yeah, they're more like a dog than any other animal that we've had. Like we've had a lot of animals, but goats I would say are the closest to like a dog or a pet, and that made it a little bit more challenging to process them. I didn't like it didn't stop me. I wasn't like, no, I can't do this, but it was a little bit harder. And it's weird because I don't feel that way towards rabbits. Like they're cuddly, they're soft. I enjoy the rabbits, and I like to hold them. But I don't feel the same way. So
we're gonna take a quick intermission and put our kids to bed. Hold on.